Apple has got some big plans for 2025 that go way beyond just a new iPhone Air. We've got some brand new leaks on a really wide and interesting array of products coming soon. Yeah, it's finally happening. We've got some juicy new details on Apple's master plan for 2025, so let me tell you everything we know right now. All right, so now that the Mac announcements have sort of wrapped up, we got the iPhone reveal, barring any major surprises or some iOS updates and some more Apple Intelligence stuff, that's pretty much a wrap on Apple for 2024. Believe it or not, Vision Pro actually did launch in the beginning of this year. Remember that thing? Obviously, we had a bunch of new and exciting information with Apple Intelligence and iOS 18 and iPhone 16. Maybe I'll do a full recap and the highs and lows of Apple in 2024. But for this video, let's put that on pause for a moment and jump forward to 2025 and talk about what is coming next. And actually, speaking of Vision Pro, let me tell you quickly here right at the top what's probably not coming in 2025, starting with a cheaper version of Vision Pro. Long story short, Apple continues to have a lot of problems with this product. It's too expensive. They've reportedly stopped manufacturing it. And now we're learning that while there are plans for a cheaper Apple Vision or Vision Air, they're likely not going to be coming sometime next year. So if you wanted a cheaper version of Vision Pro, that's actually not on the horizon for the next 12 months. Probably a new M5 version of the current Vision Pro, like an updated version 2, but no cheaper version for the coming year. Something else we likely won't see are significant Mac updates. Now, we will actually get a couple of exciting things. We're actually hearing that Apple is working on 90 hertz versions of Studio Display, iMac, and also iPad Air, so that's nice to see. But in terms of major overhauls, that likely won't be coming to the Mac lineup, specifically at least for the MacBook Pro, because we're hearing right now 2026 is when that is supposed to come. Bloomberg is reporting that Apple is actually working on one of their most significant MacBook Pro updates in the last couple of years, bringing a couple of core new features. One, OLED displays. That's gonna be nice. Looks beautiful on iPad Pro. That'll be a nice thing on the 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro. Also thinner bodies, which will be interesting because Apple sort of made the MacBook Pro thicker and added back ports with the last major redesign. Not sure if we'd get a port change on the new model, but we are hearing a thicker body is coming. And then I'm also just curious what happens with the notch. Would we get the dynamic island on the MacBook Pro? Would we get Face ID? Would that notch become useful? Or is the notch just gonna stick around kind of being useless? Not sure how that changes, but that's what we know right now. Of course, there are the more predictable updates, so all the versions of the Mac that didn't get M4 updates should be coming pretty soon. So M4 MacBook Airs, M4 Mac Studio, and I'm assuming M4 Mac Pro at some point during the year if we don't get onto M5 before they launch. Hopefully we get those updates sooner rather than later. And then of course, one of the big announcements of the spring that's gonna be super exciting is the iPhone SE4, which by all accounts, I think Apple actually already started producing, at least in limited quantities. This thing is gearing up to be a pretty big launch. And unlike the iPhone 16, which had sort of a mixed response, this is actually going to be way more exciting because it's going to be bringing a lot of Apple's best features to their lowest cost iPhone. So just a quick recap of what we know: iPhone 14 style design, 48 megapixel single camera, 6.1 inch OLED display, Face ID is in, Touch ID is out, action button, and then we're hearing that this might be the first iPhone with an Apple cell modem built in, so a little experimental groundwork there. And then Apple Intelligence, since it's such a big thing on all phones, you know, there's maybe a case to be made that it's more of a premium feature and shouldn't be on the all-new, lower-cost iPhone SE, but according to rumors right now, there's a good shot it's there, and hopefully, you know, sub $550, around the $500 price point, this could be a really compelling phone that should be great if you want a nice iPhone, but don't want to break the bank on an iPhone 16. Speaking of Apple Intelligence, those features will continue to roll out throughout the next couple of months and into 2025. Hopefully by the end of next year, hopefully sooner, maybe the middle of next year, we should have the bulk, if not all, of Apple Intelligence features out. So 2025 is going to be a big year to see if Apple Intelligence sort of lives up to the hype or if it doesn't and what could be changing. Of course, we've got all the big software stuff changing, a new Mac OS, iOS, iPad OS, Watch OS, all that stuff, but it's a little too early as of right now to know what's going to change change with new features. Same goes for iPad updates as well. I would expect the standard stuff, probably a iPad Pro refresh maybe in there, a small little refresh update in there. Base iPad we know is in the works for a launch sometime in the first half of 2025. And then one of the more exciting products that sort of is in the mix of different things is AirPods Pro, because we're hearing right now that AirPods Pro version 3 should be coming sometime in 2025. That should have a smaller design, better active noise cancellation, and we're hearing right now that Apple's gonna really try to focus on health and fitness tracking with a couple of their products, AirPods Pro being one of them, so presumably you'd have some nice health and fitness sensors built in AirPods Pro to track your workouts without having to wear a watch. And then speaking of Apple Watch, we're still hearing that Apple is fighting those patents, trying to bring back some features they lost from that Massimo lawsuit, and also still trying to work on some sort of unobtrusive blood glucose monitoring. It's been a rumor for a while. Apple hasn't been able to make it work for a myriad of reasons, but they're still trying to make some bigger health and fitness features come to the Apple Watch sometime next year. So again, a little early because we're talking about a year away now for, the next version of Apple Watch Series 11 and all the other stuff, but definitely something you at least keep on your radar right now. There are a few sort of odds and ends that we could maybe see updates to as well. It's been a while since we got an Apple TV update. We've heard that maybe we get a small little update to that box, so maybe that comes sometime next year or not. HomePod, not sure if HomePod Mini or larger HomePod are warranted for getting an update, but that could be coming as well. And then we're also hearing that Apple is set to release their new sort of smart home screen thing sometime next year that would run HomeOS, and as of right now is rumored to look like the old iMac, the one with sort of the base and then the little articulating arm with the square display. It's sort of a throwback, and that is what Apple is doing with sort of their new smart speaker that should be launching sometime before the end of next year. And finally, of course, last but certainly not least, iPhone 17. Those rumors are heating up right now. We seem to learn a little bit more every single week. And basically what we're hearing right now is it's going to be a 4-phone lineup, iPhone 17, all new iPhone 17 Air is the sort of the middle ground phone, then iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max. Big design changes are expected next year, something a little bit more significant, especially with iPhone 17 Air, as that would sort of have a more thin and lightweight and airy design like iPad Air and MacBook Air. We're also hearing that Apple is looking to shrink the dynamic island down a bit to make that cutout smaller, hopefully moving a lot of the Face ID components under the display and then just having it cut out there for the selfie camera. Also, speaking of selfie camera, at least on the Pro phones right now, 48 megapixel selfie camera seems like it's going to happen, so that could be cool. Also, better telephoto lens system. ProMotion for all phones next year. Finally, goodbye 60 hertz, RIP. That should be coming. And then that's kind of the big stuff we're hearing right now. Again, I'm sure we'll hear more as we get into, the new year and the spring and summer and all that stuff. But as of right now, things are shaping up to be pretty exciting with a lot of big updates, small updates, solid updates, and a couple of new products coming from our favorite fruit company as well throughout the next 12 or so months. So that's what we know right now. I'm curious, what do you guys think about Apple's 2025 plans so far? Are you in? Are you out? What are you excited for? iPhone SE4, anyone? Apple Watch, what would you want to see? iPad, you buying the new smart screen thing? Drop a comment down below and let me know. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I'm Robert Rosenfeld. I'll see you all in the next one.